Vlad TV recently had an interview with DJ Academics, and in this interview, DJ Vlad said he would never interview Candace Owens.
No, I never interviewed her.
Would you have?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
I feel like what Candace does, and the reason why Candace is popular, is that she has made herself as a black face for white racism.
Vlad has interviewed killers, dealers, dope abusers, and everything in between. But he won't interview a smart, educated black woman who actually paints black people, black women, in a good light. A black woman that actually speaks for herself and not a group. He called her the black face of white racism. And keep in mind, this is a white dude. Vlad is Russian. And a Russian dude is calling Candace Owens the black face of white racism. You know who the black face of white racism is, Vlad? Drill rappers. People like Sexy Red who tell you that her pussy hole is pink and her booty hole is brown, and she has little black girls all over the country dancing to that BS. That is the black face of white racism, Vlad. All those drill rappers you put on your platform. Yeah, them. Not an intelligent black woman who thinks for herself like Candace Owens. How dare you, Vlad?
White people could say, look, see, a black person is saying that George Floyd died because he was a drug addict, not because that cop put that knee to his neck. See, she's saying it. She's saying it, and she's black.
So Candace Owens has a controversial view about George Floyd, and now she's the black face for white racism. Once again, keep in mind, this is a Russian dude talking.
What about if those are her independent thoughts? It just aligns with maybe what some...
Independent thoughts. See, that's the problem with a lot of my people, a lot of our people. We speak for a group and not for ourselves. I like Candace Owens because she speaks for herself. She has individual thoughts, and maybe a lot of you should work on that and stop speaking for black people. Stop speaking for whatever gender you are. Start speaking for yourself and not a group, and watch us prosper. It's really easy to control a group if they all think alike.
I feel like I have a little bit too much respect for black people to bring on someone like a Candace and have her.
He has. And I respect Vlad, bro. I respect Vlad TV. I've actually patterned my channel somewhat around what Vlad TV has been doing for years. You know, the cutting up the clips and the posting the whole interview after and all that. But for Vlad, a white dude, he just said he has too much respect for black people to bring Candace Owens on his platform. But you'll bring people who make us look bad, Vlad. You had 21 Savage sitting there, leaned out of his mind, sitting on a stack of money. And you don't think that makes black people look bad? Come on, Vlad. You're losing this one, dog. You do not have my support for this one. And look, we all have, including me, we all have a choice to bring whoever the heck we want to bring on our platforms. But for Vlad to give this reason right here, this reason that he gave is just, I think it's BS, and I don't think he really understands what he's saying. And keep in mind, I think he's a very intelligent person, smart man, built his business from ground up to being a multimillionaire now, but he's telling me that he won't invite Candace Owens on his show because she's not a good representation for black people. Dude, I don't care if you're white or black listening right now. Every person would want their daughter to grow up to be like Candace Owens. Smart, educated, beautiful, talented, and she speaks for herself.
Remember when I talked to Charlamagne about this, he said, well, you know, a lot of older black people are actually saying stuff like this in private. You know,
a lot of older black people are conservative and they think just the way Candace Owens thinks. Black people are conservative by nature. We are just a conservative people when it comes to a lot of things. We are very conservative on our social life. For whatever reason, that does not translate into the voting world, but because we vote liberal in droves. But there are a lot of older Black folks, including myself, dog. I'm almost 50 years old. I agree with a lot of stuff Candace Owens said. Do I agree with that George Floyd thing? I haven't looked into it enough to even go there. But what I saw from that police officer was pure evil. And if you just ask me based on what I saw and what I do know about the trial, George Floyd had his life taken from that cop. Maybe there were some substances in his system. I don't know. But just because Candace Owens thinks that does not make her the black face of white racism. This is insulting. Like, every black person should be insulted listening to this, dog. He won't bring Candace Owens on, a well-educated woman, but he'll bring on Chief Keef and other people who are just zannied up and perked out of their brains. And that's a good representation for black people, Vlad. Damn, dog.
I give her a lot of credit, and I think it took someone as brave as her to actually go expose BLM for all the misusing of the funds, because I think...
Yes. I've been following Candace for a cool minute now. 5-6 years, something like that. Always mess with her. But one thing I like about her and certain other people is that they exposed Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was the biggest piece of garbage introduced to the black community in a long time. I never liked Black Lives Matter. I never felt their movement. I always felt it hurt black folks more than it helped black folks. And where's all that money? Where's the money, Black Lives Matter? Like, when I hear Black Lives Matter and I hear that they make $100 million or whatever they made or whatever, like, and I don't see them building any schools in the community. I don't see them building anything in the like, help me understand. Help me understand how an organization called Black Lives Matter doesn't invest into the black community. Help me out. Oh, but they're buying $10 million homes. Oh, yeah. I know a few of their members were living large, player. But none of that money came to the black community. Black Lives Matter. That was a joke, dude. It's always been a joke. Even during 2020, during that era of the summer when it was just really hot, I always saw Black Lives Matter as a complete joke.
And BLM ended up being a scam in a lot of ways. They're buying homes. They're paying. They're
big old scam. Big old scam that BLM was.
They're paying their
main chick was a white chick. Wasn't the main chick, like, wasn't she white or something? Rachel Dolezal. What's old girl's name? Did she change her name to Shanquisha yet? Because she was like, oh, I'm white, but I identify as black. Like, what? And this is this is a complete joke.
Brother, $1 million a year.
Biggest joke since Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton being the leaders of the black community. Like, biggest joke since then. Yeah, Vlad got butthurt. He got in his feelings over the George Floyd comment that she made. And now he's saying that Candace Owens is the blackface of white racism based on that one point. No, dude, I need a bunch of examples, dude. Give me more examples. Comment down below. Give me some more examples, if you have any, of how and why Kamala Harris is the blackface of white racism. Comment down below. I'm asking. I'm all ears, man. Like, I'm willing to understand different points of views, and I'm not too old enough to change my point of view. You may change my point of view, but based off this one comment, and I've been following Candace Owens for 6-7 years, and I see her nothing more than a great representation for black women. If I had a daughter, I would be the proudest dad ever that she was growing up to be like that.
I would love to see her with Jon Stewart or someone like that, right? Like, we're not supposed to talk in an echo chamber. That's why I hate watching Fox. I hate watching CNN. They bring on 20 pundits. They all say the same thing.
That's why I don't care for Fox. I don't care for CNN. I don't care for MSNBC, because all they do is they just bring a bunch of people on who agree with them, and they're right, and the other side are dumb, and it just that shit gets old. Fox News is just as guilty as MSNBC, and CNN is just as guilty as C-SPAN. All of them, they're all whack, dude. And sadly, most of America gets their news, they get their talking points from one of those networks that I just mentioned. And that's why We have such a huge divide in this country, and that's why people only hang around with people who agree with them. I mean, think about that, man. People just block someone. They'll block you because they don't agree with you. Like, oh my God, he said something offensive, or he's voting Republican, I'm blocking him. Oh my God, he's a libtard, I'm blocking him. And then you got a bunch of people around you who agree with you. How fun is that? That is the most boringest world that I think I could ever be a part of, is being around everybody who's, yep, you're right, Dusty. Yeah, I agree. I'm the same way. That's what makes people grow, is when you challenge opinions and you challenge yourself to listen to someone else's opinion. And hell, like I said, I was liberal, and look, I am socially liberal. I'm very socially liberal. Like, everything about me is socially liberal, but I vote conservative, and I just feel like that's the right thing for me. And you know what? I'm an individual. Okay? I'm no less black because I vote a certain way. I'm no less black because I don't vote a certain way. It's ridiculous. We got to start thinking as individuals. Like I said earlier, it is so easy to control a group if they all think alike. And that's why they control us, because we all think alike.
This is my platform. I don't want to do it.
But he's cool with bringing on people who just pop 7 perk 30s before they hit. Like, really, dog? Crunchy Black is a better representation of black people than Candace Owens? Really? Crunchy Black? Is that what you're telling me, Vlad? All right, I'm gonna get out of here, man. The full interview can be found on Vlad TV. Go show him some love. Like I said, this has nothing to do personally with Vlad TV. I think he's an awesome dude, and I think he is pushing a good product over there for the most part. And I think he's one of the goats in this. And like I said earlier, he's someone that I have followed and studied, and I hope to be in the realm that Vlad TV is in one day. But Vlad, you are full of BS on this one, homie. You are full of BS, dog. I'm calling it. I'm calling it. I'm going to be covering Candace Owens a lot on my program. I really like her thoughts, and I believe she is a good representation for black women. Here is a clip of Candace Owens talking about welfareism and the black community.
Right? Like, despite the fact that there's been trillions of dollars since the establishment of welfare, black Americans are poorer today than we were before it.
Ooh, it's kind of deep, huh? They're giving us all this money, but we're actually poorer than we were prior to this. Let's keep it going. This is Candace Owens on The Breakfast Club.
People don't know this, but during the time of Jim Crow, before welfare was established in the 1950s, black Americans were actually outpacing white Americans in this country in terms of economic growth. And the reason for that was because our families were together.
Ooh, I'm going to stop it right there. So back in the day when racism was supposedly at its highest, we were doing better. Black folks were doing much better. And why is that? Because our families were staying together. I'm going to discuss this until my nose falls off. The importance of black fathers staying in the home. The importance of black fathers not going around everywhere and just dropping your ghetto seed into some chick and then expecting her to take care of the kid and raise them in this crazy world. We were doing so much better back when the family stayed together. Back then, 1950s, 9 out of 10 black fathers were in the home. I have friends who are 20, 25 years my senior, and they tell me of a time where almost everyone on their block had a father. Every black kid had a father. If a kid didn't have a father back then in the 1960s, 1970s, that was seen as weird. Now fast forward to today. 7 out of 10 black kids are living in a home out of wedlock where there is no father, no husband. 7 out of 10. What happened? How did that happen? I'll tell you how it happened. Government is now the baby daddy. Yes, you can have all of it. The government will give you whatever you need, Miss Lady. But you know what? You got to kick Tyrone out of the house. They started this to supposedly help us, and here we are, 60, 70 years later, and we're in a worse position now than we were back then. But let's continue with Candace Owens right here on the Breakfast Club, breaking it down nicely.
We had good values. The government only wants to give you the bare minimum. But where's the rest of the money? Where is it going? They sign these bills making you think that this money is going to you. It's not. They are stealing from the American people.
That's why I don't think. That's why I think if you're black, you shouldn't be beholden to any political party, Democrat or Republican.
Right. I mean,
Right now, if you're black, I truly believe that you should not hold yourself to any political party. Unfortunately, 80 to 90% of you black folks listening to my voice right now, no matter what, you're still gonna vote Democrat. We need to make them work for our vote. I've said this 100,000 times, and I'll say it 100,000 more. If you don't like it, hit that unsubscribe button. Black people need to stop automatically voting Democrat. Just because your mom and dad voted Democrat, just because their mom and dad might have voted Democrat, do not fall into that trap. Get off the plantation.
I think that any concept of saying that I am a Republican forever, a Democrat forever is a nonsense. You know, you should always look at the candidates that are running, and any person that is running saying that they want to grow government is your enemy.
Pay attention. Why would you want to grow government? You want to grow the people. And that's what scares me about the Democrat Party is they want to make government bigger. They want a bigger baby daddy. They want to be Pawpaw and Mamala. Did you guys see that Drew Barrymore crap the other day where she was talking to Kamala Harris and she said, "We need a Mamala in this country." First of all, Drew Barrymore, she can get it. Like, I would bang her, especially back in her Charlie's Angels days. But when it comes to politics, I don't want to hear what you have to say whatsoever, especially if you're going to tell Kamala Harris, the biggest joke of a vice president we've ever had next to Dan Quayle, you're going to tell her we need a mamala? So we got a baby daddy for the government, and now we got a mamala? Nah, dog, I ain't feeling that whatsoever. Go check out that Drew Barrymore crap where she told Kamala that. There's clips all over YouTube.
Why do you think people give you a lot of backlash for questioning people and having questions? I see all the time with Charlemagne, if we question something that Kamala Harris did, or question something that Joe Biden did, or question somebody that's Democrat did, why do you think our people have so much backlash when you ask so many questions?
Because black people are scared of the truth. That's an easy one. Black people are afraid of the truth. And most of us don't want to look in the mirror and accept the fact that a lot of the problems that are in our community, they are problems that can be solved by our community. But instead, we're waiting for baby daddy government and mamala to bail us out and to take care of us. All of the problems that go on in the black community, we can solve them tomorrow. You know how? Men, stop bouncing after you drop your seed. Oh, but no. Now, I ain't letting the women off the hook now. Black women, y'all need to stop spreading your legs and letting these dudes drop their seeds inside of you. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If that man has 2 kids by 2 baby mamas, do not let him stick his penis inside of you. If he has 2 kids by 2 different baby mamas and he has any visible tattoos that he can't cover up with the work shirt, I'm talking about lipstick marks on the neck, a flower on his head that used to have his baby mama name, but now they're broken up, so he put a flower over it. If he has any of that, do not let him stick his unit inside of you.
Well, because I think that they don't realize that they've been manipulated against their own interests. And a lot of it is, when you start telling the truth, you become a problem to the establishment.
Let me ask you this part of what's going on in the country. I'm sure you keep up with current events and things like that, but there's currently a migrant crisis going on. And I live in LA, you're from LA, so we're 100 miles from the border, so it's always kind of been a deal, here in California, but now other states are starting to feel it places like Chicago and New York and things like that. And they're sending migrants there. And not only that, Perry, but can you hear me? The hell?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, cool.
I hear you.
Yeah, all right. Not only that, they're giving them free money. They're giving them free credit cards, upwards of $10,000 per individual. They are literally taking kids out of school to house the migrants. They are putting the migrants up in hotels and things like that. They're, like I said, they're giving them money. I'm not one, I don't, whatever, reparations, whatever. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. But it's kind of interesting to me that people who are coming to this country, quote, illegally, are getting all of this stuff. And meanwhile, we're getting pushed to the back of the bus again. What are your thoughts on that? Have you been keeping up with the migrant crisis and all that going on?
Yeah, I have, man. A part of me want to...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
No, I acknowledge it as a conspiracy theory, but I remember Obama talking about the Great Reset.
Yeah.
I never really, still to this day, totally understood what he meant by the Great Reset. But, I believe that's another reason to go back to that question you just asked me about the Democrat Party. They're letting all these people into the country, and, a lot of people, especially people of color, are like, man, what are you guys doing? I've been waiting on these housing and financial assistance for many, many years, and this dude comes into the country illegal, and y'all just having everything. So that's another reason why people are getting fed up. But I also believe it goes to what you talked about earlier. With these polls are suggesting that they're losing their, their influence amongst minorities. So, maybe this letting all these people into the country, this is another trick up their sleeve that they're going to figure out some way to be able to get these people to be able to vote within the next few years.
Oh yeah,
and this is part of their Great Reset. Because I don't understand why would you challenge Texas trying to secure their border? Like if we're in it as a government to protect America, protect the people. If Texas decides to implement a law to help the Border Patrol secure the border, why would the Biden administration go to the Supreme Court and fight it? I don't understand that. It makes me believe in the conspiracy theory. There's a greater, more sinister plan going on with that border. This ain't by accident. This is by design, especially with the Chinese migrants.
Yeah.
If you believe what they're saying, you got 30,000, 40,000 of them that came over the border within the last couple months.
Yep.
And like they said, you don't just leave China 40,000, 30,000 deep. So that's a plan. Something's going on there, and American people is getting fed up with it. So I don't understand what's going on at that border, but I believe it's way deeper than most of us probably will ever realize.
Mm-hmm. I think it's all for votes, like you said. At the end of the day, it's all for votes. They see they're losing steam with us, with black folks and other minorities, and now they're like, oh well, let's try it with this. Not only that, they're getting gun laws. They're committing crimes and being let go. I mean, and not too many people seem to be talking about it, Perry. At least on the left, they don't talk about it.
Hell no, they want to keep them coming through the back door while everybody stay quiet. That's how they like it.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy though, Dusty, man.
It is, homie.
It is. Like my neighborhood.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Used to be 90% black people. Now I talk to some of my old neighbors, and they like, man, that shit is 99% Hispanic or Latino now. Like, really ain't no black people over there no more. So part of me be thinking like, dang, I don't even got no neighborhood to go back to. If I wanted to go back and try to really, build up my neighborhood and look out for my people that I grew up with, they're no longer over there no more.